Richard Boone took his own life tragically before revealing a painful secret. Richard Boone, a celebrated actor and director, was known for his rugged demeanor and commanding presence on screen. Born Richard Allen Boone on June 18, 1917, in Los Angeles, California, he grew up in a family deeply rooted in the military and intellectual tradition. His father was a corporate lawyer, and Boone was related to the American pioneer Daniel Boone. Despite these aristocratic roots, Boone's journey to stardom was one of self-discovery and a testament to his diverse talents. Early life and military service. Boone's early life was marked by a series of dramatic turns. He attended Stanford University but left before graduating to pursue various jobs, including oilfield labor and professional boxing. When World War II erupted, Boone enlisted in the U.S. Navy and served as an aviation ordnanceman in the Pacific Theater. His time in the military shaped his personality and worldviews, fostering a sense of discipline and resolve that would later serve him well in his acting career. The military service left an indelible mark on Boone's personality, adding to his authentic portrayal of tough, no-nonsense characters. Early career and stage beginnings. After the war, Boone developed an interest in the performing arts and began studying acting at the Actors Studio in New York, honing his craft alongside future legends like Marlon Brando and Montgomery Clift. His passion for the stage led him to perform in various Broadway productions, where he gained critical acclaim. His time in theater helped Boone build a strong foundation for his acting style, characterized by emotional intensity and a raw, masculine energy. It was this experience that prepared him for the demanding roles he would later take on in both television and film. Rise to fame with Have Gun, Will Travel. Boone's breakthrough came with the role of Paladin, a cultured yet lethal gunslinger, in the CBS television series Have Gun, Will Travel, 1957–1963. As the star of one of the most popular Western series of its time, Boone brought a level of sophistication and gravitas to the character that set him apart from typical Western heroes. Unlike the usual rough-and-tumble cowboys, Paladin was an educated man, quoting Shakespeare and dressing in fine attire while still maintaining his tough guy persona. Boone's portrayal of Paladin became iconic, earning him widespread fame and solidifying his place in television history. The character's moral complexity resonated with audiences, making Have Gun, Will Travel one of the most watched shows of its era, and Boone's performance was integral to its success. Film career and notable roles. While Boone's television career was flourishing, he also made a name for himself in Hollywood. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Boone starred in several notable films, including The Robe, 1953, a biblical epic where he played a Roman centurion, and The Alamo, 1960, directed by and starring John Wayne. In these films, Boone demonstrated his versatility, moving seamlessly between different genres and character types. His portrayal of tough, gritty men was always balanced with an underlying intelligence, making his characters more than just archetypal action heroes. In addition to westerns, Boone appeared in a variety of dramatic roles, showing off his impressive range. One of his most memorable performances came in Hombre, 1967, where he co-starred alongside Paul Newman. Boone played Cicero Grimes, a morally bankrupt antagonist who contrasted sharply with Newman's stoic protagonist. Boone's ability to portray menacing characters with nuance earned him praise from both critics and his peers. Directorial work and legacy. Boone didn't limit his talents to acting. He also stepped behind the camera to direct several episodes of Have Gun, Will Travel and other television series. His directorial efforts were well received, further cementing his status as a multi-talented figure in the entertainment industry. His ability to bring out strong performances from actors and his understanding of pacing and storytelling made him a respected figure not just in front of the camera but behind it as well. Richard Boone's contribution to the Western genre, both as an actor and director, is immense. His portrayals brought depth to characters that could have easily been one-dimensional, and his performances were often laced with a complexity that made him stand out in a crowded field of Western stars. His work in television and film during the golden age of Westerns left an enduring legacy that continues to influence the genre today. Later career and final years. In his later years, Boone continued to work steadily, transitioning to character roles in television movies and guest starring in various series. Despite aging, Boone's commanding screen presence never waned. He appeared in films like The Shootist, 1976, starring John Wayne, where Boone played an ex-lawman, once again drawing on his natural gravitas to deliver a memorable performance. Boone spent his final years in Hawaii, where he lived with his wife, Claire McAloon, enjoying a quieter life away from the spotlight. He continued to work in television sporadically until his death from throat cancer on January 10, 1981, at the age of 63. Richard Boone, best known for his iconic roles in Western television series such as Have Gun, Will Travel, harbored a deeply personal and painful secret throughout much of his life. While Boone's career painted a picture of rugged strength and charisma, the actor endured a long battle with a terrible disease that ravaged his health in his final years. His son would later reveal that Boone had suffered silently, concealing his physical and emotional pain from the public eye. This revelation came in the wake of Boone's tragic death, casting a somber light on the suffering that had characterized his later life. A critical aspect of Richard Boone's secret struggle was his long-standing addiction to both cigarettes and alcohol. Boone had been a heavy smoker for decades, a habit that contributed to the deterioration of his health. Smoking was a common vice among many actors of his generation, but for Boone, it became a chain that eventually dragged him toward his tragic end. His addiction to alcohol only compounded the damage. Boone's son recounted heartbreaking moments where his father, despite knowing the dangers, continued to drink and smoke, as though locked in a cycle of self-destruction. As his son described, Boone's drinking escalated in the later stages of his life. He would drink until the alcohol burned his throat, pushing himself to the point where he could no longer swallow. Boone reportedly confided in his son about the toll this behavior was taking on him. "I know it's harmful," he would say, "but I can't control myself." These were the words of a man who was aware of the self-destruction he was courting but felt powerless to stop. Even with the support and interventions of those closest to him, Boone's addiction proved too strong a force to overcome. His loved ones witnessed his descent into poor health with a mixture of helplessness and sorrow. In the final months of his life, Boone's health declined rapidly. The years of smoking and drinking had taken their toll, and he was diagnosed with throat cancer. This painful disease would ultimately claim his life, but Boone never fully revealed the extent of his suffering to the public. He continued to live his life privately, away from the spotlight that had once defined his career, choosing instead to battle his illness behind closed doors. His son would later explain that Boone's decision to keep his pain secret was, in part, an attempt to maintain his dignity and the image of strength that he had cultivated throughout his career. Augustine, Florida. Surrounded by the quiet and solitude of the coastal town, he faced the inevitability of his illness. Despite the pain, Boone never publicly sought pity or attention for his condition, preferring instead to manage his final moments in peace. His death on January 10, 1981, was attributed to complications from his throat cancer, marking the end of a life both triumphant and tragic. His passing was a significant loss for the entertainment industry, and many fans and fellow actors mourned the rugged, no-nonsense star who had become a staple of Western television. After his death, Boone's ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Hawaii. This choice of final resting place carried symbolic weight, as Boone had a deep love for the islands. Hawaii had been a place of solace for him during his lifetime, and it was fitting that his remains were laid to rest there, in the waters he had cherished. The scattering of his ashes in the vast Pacific was a quiet and dignified end for a man who had struggled so deeply with private pain. In the aftermath of his death, the revelation of Boone's secret battle with addiction and illness added a layer of complexity to his legacy. While he was remembered as a tough, commanding presence on screen, the reality of his personal life was far more fragile. Boone's life serves as a reminder of the toll that fame, addiction, and illness can take on even the strongest of individuals.